Alastair Ross, one of the things that's coming up time and again with our members in surveys is the difficulty of accessing finance. What are you and the Assembly doing about that at the moment?
Well, there's two things. First of all, in the absence of lending from banks, the Minister was able to have the Access to Finance initiative to ensure that companies who had the ability to grow weren't going to be held back unnecessarily. It's not government's primary role to be doing that, so we continue with our efforts in meeting with the banks, and the Finance Minister and the Deputy Minister have been doing that over the last number of months. One of the difficulties we've had in quantifying the level of difficulty for local businesses is in getting regional data. I'm pleased that we're hopefully by the end of the year we will have that regional data, so we'll be able to work out at a better degree of the difficulties that there are in Northern Ireland that will help us tailor a solution to it.
The difficulty, of course, is understanding what data has been made available, and I presume you're getting this from the British Bankers Association, so do you feel that that's going to create an effective and informative picture of the lending position in Northern Ireland?
Well, I hope it is, because we hear this anecdotally in our constituencies and from businesses across Northern Ireland, just the difficulties that they're having. Hopefully this will be able to quantify that, and it'll give us more accurate data in terms of the extent of the problem here in Northern Ireland.
Do you think that once you see the lending data, it'll help to expose gaps in provision and perhaps encourage other lenders into the marketplace here?
I hope it will. I mean, that's what the work with the banks have been in terms of ensuring that they are giving access to finance and lending to local companies, because what we want to see is local companies have the confidence to invest further, to engage in R&D, to innovate and to ultimately grow, but they can't do that without getting lending from our banks, and that's what we've been doing with the banks to try to encourage them to fill that gap.
Aside from bank lending itself, the Northern Ireland Affairs Committee is now starting to look at banking structures. I'm just wondering what you feel that might show up in terms of whether Northern Ireland is perhaps overbanked at present.
Well, the whole banking area is something which will change in years to come, and we've already seen that from the Chancellor's statements that he's made on this issue. One of the difficulties we've had is with no locally owned banks, so it makes accountability a more difficult thing for us here in Northern Ireland. But I'm pleased that the ministers locally and our MPs on the Northern Ireland Affairs Committee have been able to make the case for Northern Ireland and make the case for Northern Ireland businesses in the forums that have been afforded to them, both at the Affairs Committee at Westminster and in meetings that our ministers have had with the leading banks right across the UK.
We're up here in the northwest at the FSB City of Culture lunch. What are your perceptions of the way the tourism offering has developed?
Well, it's been a fantastic year for Londonderry. The UK City of Culture has brought a spotlight on the city and spotlight on so many different activities, and as I said earlier on today, there's been such a range of activities going on to suit people of all ages and all backgrounds from all different parts of Northern Ireland, from the traditional sort of fla music to the tattoo, the big one weekend for the Radio 1 for the younger people. So it's been a fantastic experience, and much more to come with the Turner Prize stuff and the Luminaire. So it's a really, really exciting time for Londonderry, and it can give us a real springboard to move on from this, not just in terms of tourism, but also for many of the businesses who are delivering tourism products on the ground or who can benefit from the increased footfall across the city.
There's a general acceptance that 2012 and 2013 have been a great springboard for tourism activity in Northern Ireland. What do you think the future now holds as we move beyond that?
Well, 2014 with the Giro d'Italia coming in May, which is another fantastic opportunity for us. It's something which is going to give us international coverage like we've never had before, and because of the popularity of cycling as well, we're going to have an interest which is unprecedented for the tournament. I would hope that events like that, and hopefully we get the Irish Open back, and we're working on getting other major events into Northern Ireland in the future, we can keep building on it, because what we have done with the MTV Awards in 2011 and the stuff that we've done in 2012 and 13 is prove that Northern Ireland is capable of delivering on a global stage. So what we'll do is continue to use that confidence to bid for bigger events in the future, and I'm no doubt that people here will support them, and that we as the government will support in efforts to deliver them to a very high standard, as we've done in the past.